and it was just something to behold. Every step of the way, I was just so impressed at how collaborative the spirit was that you brought to this work. You were able to work through
Welcome everyone, we are the A team, and our presentation today is in Curbing Houselessness with Sustainable Homes. I am Topher McDonnell, to my left is Lauren Huber, to my right, Kamdeb, Lafayette, and Grace Peterson. Now, if y'all could take a little bit of time and we can direct you to our website that we made, I'll hold this up and you guys should have gotten handouts too with the QR code. And I'll have more information. Like I said, I am Topher McDonnell, and I am a junior at Classic 9 High School. And this project to me has been really preparing me for the world, and it's really close to me due to the fact that I've experienced people in my life with houselessness and the struggles that come with it. And I really want to use this project as a way to move forward and make the state of Oregon.
Hello, my name is Lauren Huber. I'm a sophomore at West Salem High School. Houselessness is a very personal topic for me because many of my friends have experienced being houseless. Youth, especially marginalized youth, are at increased risk of being houseless. I believe Oregon can spearhead solving this issue.
Hello, my name is Kamdeb Lafayette. I go to Central High School and I'm a sophomore. Since a young age, I always knew there was a dark place in the world. Some people had to deal with this darkness head first. I knew this project was a good way to face this problem and help the people that suffer to find a way back in society.
And I'm Grace Peterson. I'm a junior at Oregon Charter Academy, and I live in Walla. I've seen so many friends, family members, neighbors. I've seen so many people suffer from houselessness. And as soon as I saw this project, I knew immediately I had the power and ability to do something about it, and I wanted to immediately take action. Because of that, I want to allow you guys to meet Joe Malone. Here he is. So this is a family friend of mine. I actually call him G.I. Joe. But Joey worked as a mechanic before serving twice in the U.S. Army. He is the nicest, kindest, funniest person I know, and he's always ready to take action, and he's happily married to his beautiful wife and loves his 4 children. Unfortunately, during his second service, Joe suffered from an injury that affects his daily life and hinders his ability to work. Now his family lives disability check to disability check, and oftentimes they find themselves houseless because of this. And this is not just a story that goes with Joe, it's a story that can be found all across Oregon.
Houselessness is more than just people on the street. It's an imperative crisis that affects a multitude of areas, including public stigma. We've all heard the words hobo, beggar, bum. Houselessness is often stigmatized as a personal failure, leading to discrimination and social exclusion. The stigma can prevent individuals from seeking help and accessing services, exacerbating their situation. It overlooks the systematic causes of homelessness and fails to recognize
The house, but a devastating time for the houseless, who had to face the brunt of the sun without proper resources. Almost 200 people died that June, the majority being unhoused. It's expected that, as climate change worsens, houseless deaths will continue to rise.
With a high population, it comes to the increase of needs of homes to fit the population needs. The population of number of people keeps expanding, but the land is. The lack of housing, the value of it increases, so as people of lower income has a harder time finding homes, leaving it a harder time to have to find houses, making this a huge important problem to the peace.
Today, we are proposing a social movement. We want our state lawmakers and government officials to be aware of organizations and teams that work so hard for the people of Oregon and to help better their lives.
When 600 randomized Oregonians were asked to indicate what they see as the most important problem facing Oregon today, 29% answered houselessness. In 2015, Oregon's most populous county, Multnomah County, found that 49% of their houseless population was unsheltered. These statistics exhibit how serious this crisis is. Becoming houseless can happen to anyone, And if there's a lack of shelter, there is no way to get off the ground. With the rise of climate change, inflation, and crime, the lack of being housed makes being houseless being extremely dangerous and difficult to overcome. In a 2022 poll for OPB, Oregonians agree that there's more homelessness in the state than there was a year ago. 76% said that there was much more, and 70% also agree with the notion that houselessness can be solved with the right policies and resources. They're right. Without intervention, houselessness will continue to be a significant problem in 2050. The global population is projected to grow, and if current economic
Many organizations are committed to fighting against the housing problem. Many organizations have begun repurposing unused buildings into houseless shelters. Buildings like skyscrapers and malls, which have gone out of use due to the pandemic or online shopping. So these buildings have been either shut down or left without purpose. Using them for shelters allows these spaces to be used sustainably and repurposed, so we can continue to give them a reason to have them and continue to use the land properly. And there are so many resources and organizations willing to combat houselessness and provide housing for the houseless, but there is one main problem with all these organizations: lack of awareness. Due to the stigma that surrounds houselessness, few people understand or know much about houselessness unless they experience it. And they don't get involved with helping change the problem. We want to use this opportunity to spread awareness on the topic with more info on how to get donations, volunteering, advocacy, and more can be found on the support tab on our website as well. We really want to use this as a chance to tie in and give awareness and say, we can change this. We all have to take a part of it though.
Reusing old buildings such as shopping malls and other abandoned buildings can open many doors to helping people, though
assistance significantly discourages future returns to the homeless support system and has several positive social and economic effects. Adaptive reuse can reduce costs of new construction and land acquisition, and hunups are eco-friendly and protective against severe weather. Houselessness is a crisis that plagues not just Oregon, but the entire country. Every person deserves the basic human right of adequate and safe housing, and it's time to make that a reality for all. No one should have to worry about where they'll sleep at night or if they'll end up on the streets during a rough patch of life. It's time for Oregon to lead the way in creating a state where people can truly feel secure in their homes. Through the utilization of adaptive reuse and the inspiration of the traditional hunup design, we can create affordable and environmentally sustainable housing units for those facing housing insecurity. This isn't just about solving a problem, it's about providing hope and dignity to those who have been forgotten by society. Our proposal is more than just a solution, it's a beacon of hope for those who have been left behind. By curbing housing insecurity and houselessness, we can reduce psychological and mental distress, incarceration rates, and
And now we leave this time open for questions.
Somebody.
Well, that was great. Thank you so much. I think the big question that I have for you all has to do a little bit with the question about people. We were talking about these vacant spaces that we have in the community. What's the approach that you're thinking about that policymakers and partners are already on the mission to get folks that own these vacant buildings and community spaces, well, not community spaces, but private, to open those up and partner with the state to create a solution to houselessness.
So I really want to give light to the city of Tigard, who is currently, just recently they were able to get a hotel and are currently renovating it to fit for houseless needs, as well as a lot of it too is Project Turnkey. So if you haven't heard, Project Turnkey was started in 2020, and it was designed to give more resources and funding to these organizations that support houselessness. And because of that, those organizations, we really want to add more funding to Project Turnkey and provide more singular funding as well. So like, anyone in this room could go and donate to a houselessness organization. And those houseless organizations can take those funds and get these purposes and resources.
I'd also like to add on what policymakers can do is obviously make legislation, but another option is for resolutions. I talked with Representative Evans, and he's currently doing a resolution on classroom law project so that they can raise awareness for that to raise more funds and get more volunteers. The same could be done for a project like this.
Is this on? Thank you for your presentation. I really liked how you connected a lot of topics such as land use, climate change, houselessness, obviously, and other things, mental health, things like that. So thank you for those connections. I have all kinds of questions, but I guess I'll just stick with one about the hammocks and your idea to like put them in various places. Can you tell us if you like thought about the landscape of Oregon and the various towns you all live, and also your knowledge of Portland? Like, where would you imagine them going, and what would that process? How would you find land, and what would that look like?
Well, hammocks are a very flexible thing, as they're like the original design is from Korea, which is a very rough terrain, and so we are hoping. It's quite not really plausible to have it, like, of course, in the center of a city because there's no land use there. So we're hoping people in outer skirts kind of transportation or kind of reaching out to people in inner cities that be able to come to outer skirts, because we want to expand like the resources towards not really the center of all like everyone, but we want to expand them to places that are kind of more empty and open, so be able to house them as well.
And there's regions in Southern Oregon as well, which have wide open spaces that are currently being used. I can give some resources to those later, but those areas as well could be great for houselessness like this, because Portland has so much houselessness, but so does every other city in Oregon, rural, urban, wherever it is. So being able to supply housing to those in rural areas, like Southern Oregon especially, would be really beneficial.
Thank you. That was the hammocks before, and I thought it was a very compelling proposal. I'm wondering if you've spoken to any people who are houseless about your idea and what they thought about hammocks and maybe how they would feel living in one. Particularly the piece that I thought was one is like the communal areas where people can come together and build community spaces.
I actually did get the chance to talk with someone about that, and I talked about like the ideas of the hammocks and the way that it's building community with other people who are struggling. And when I talked with them about this, they felt that they felt honestly like they had mixed opinions on it, because they felt that in a way, they said they felt a little embarrassed to be able to do that and to be with others like that. They didn't know they could do it. But then after further conversations, we both came to the conclusion that if you're around people who are like you and you have both going through struggles, you can build those bonds and those relationships. So when you do go back into society, you always have those people where you both went through something similar.
Lifelong friends, and that's why cooking and eating together through our cultures, back in the caveman era, it was a sign of respect, of love, and you did that with people that you cared about, who came from similar situations or different situations. And that's why we have so many cooking shows, baking shows. It's because we all thrive for that human connection. Providing these communal spaces and being able to get the housing, but not just a house, but a home with it as well, provides such a lasting impact as well. Because we don't want just people to get them off the streets. We want to keep them off the streets, and the best way to do that is to provide connection. Thank you.